Past the fourth turn by the barn, where Mrs. Froman lived till she passed on. There is a cottage by the lakeside, where fairies come out at night. There's a music box in the bedroom, it's playing songs from 1922, and if you listen for long enough. Twirl me around the kitchen, Pinot Grigio for two. Love letters are written, live in a quaint little avenue. Candlelit apartment, everything's sublime. I can't wait to meet you, my future love of mine. Tulips on the table, fingers intertwined. I'll smile and say I'm grateful. You'll say that I'm divine. We stare in admiration until the end of time. I love you already, my future love of mine. Da-da-da, we'll talk about whatever, from novels to tangerines. Could lay like this forever, tell stories from when we were teens. Am I crazy to think you're out there? I hope the stars align. Ready when you are, my future love of mine. Past the fourth turn by the barn, where Mrs. Froman lived till she passed on. There is a cottage by the lakeside, where fairies come out at night.
Les regards, c'est la grande arme de la coquetterie vertueuse. Parce qu'on peut tout dire avec un regard. Et puis après, on peut toujours nier ce regard-là.
Jeter les filets d'amour, remonte-les dans 2000 ans. Les mains se serrent, les mains se serrent, les mains se serreront fort sous un soleil de papier d'eau. Jeter les filets d'amour, remonte-les dans 2000 ans. c'est la fin, si c'est la fin des remords, alors je te retrouverai près, alors je te retrouverai.
Past the fourth turn, by the barn, where Mrs. Foreman lived till she passed on. There is a cottage by the lakeside, where fairies come out at night. There's a music box in the bedroom, it's playing songs from 1922, and if you listen for long enough, you'll fall asleep and might wake up walking in a wonderland, played in by a marching band. It's getting hard to leave your apartment. The light goes too often and your power's down. It's getting dark and warmth isn't promised, but I'll like you longest when love's not around. I'm gonna come over and I'm gonna sit there and I'm gonna hold you to me when you cry. I'm gonna love better and I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna spend winter home by your side. I've spent a life breaking my promises, 'cause the ones that I offered were forced from my hand. I've spent a life practicing caution, and I haven't often changed all my plans. But you just come over and I watch you sit there and offer to hold me to you when I cry. I've learned to love better since I've seen you listen, and I'm gonna spend winter home by your side. I've spent the year counting my losses, waiting for slip-ups and scolding my skin. I've spent the year counting my downfalls something is different. I stood in your kitchen, then I knelt down and cried. I think you weep when you find what you're missing, and I'm gonna spend winter. go crazy over two. Love letters are written, live in a quaint little avenue. Candlelit apartment, everything's sublime. I can't wait to meet you, my future love of mine. Tulips on the table, fingers intertwined. I'll smile and say I am grateful. You'll say that I'm divine. We stare in admiration until the end of time. I love you already, my future love of mine. Da-da-da, ah-da. We'll talk about whatever, from novels to tangerines. Could lay like this forever, tell stories from when we were teens. Am I crazy to think you're out there? I hope the stars align. Ready when you are, my future love of mine.